There we go. My camera is ready. Friends, girls, my girlfriends, I got engaged. Oh my god. The last week, I know I've been a little bit offline, I need to take a deep breath. Have just been really overwhelming in a really positive way, filled with so much love and celebration. I'm also sitting on the ground, by the way, because I always feel really grounded on the ground, and I feel I'm sharing such like an intimate moment with you guys. So I was like, I'm just gonna film this video on the ground in front of my bed, because that's where I feel the most open. I feel so many of you have been such a big part of my journey, and especially in the last few years. And I don't know, I feel all of you have been kind of on the way and like celebrating so much for me whenever I had a big modeling job, or when I got my period back, or moved to LA. And that's also why today I really wanted to share this video with you and share another, beautiful, intimate moment with all of you. Also, I can't like stop staring it, so I'm sorry if I like have my ring a little up in the air. It's just like a weird feeling. Life is just different, and it's really hard to explain. It's funny because I've never really been a person who like completely planned out their wedding or was like, oh my god, an engagement is like a really, really big thing. Now I kind of went through it. I'm like, no, I understand why it is such a big deal. But yeah. So Jessie and I went to New York City last week. It was Fashion Week. We had like a bunch of meetings. We wanted to catch up with a lot of people, so we went together, and we were supposed to stay from Thursday till Wednesday. Later in the week, we got invited on Thursday actually for a breakfast, kind of a meeting, and we had another really important meeting in the afternoon, which is something else we're like working on, and I can't wait to share with you. So I was like, okay, let's extend our trip. And I was like, it might be good if Max and Jason are at this meeting too on Thursday. I called up Max and I called up Jason, and I was like, hey, I think you guys should come to New York. So they were like, okay, we will come. I had obviously absolutely no idea that in that specific week the proposal would happen, because Max wasn't even supposed to be in New York. He just came for the meeting. Yeah, I just didn't know that he had already planned this for years to actually do in New York City. There's so many things that when I like run back, I'm like, oh my god, the signs were kind of in a way obvious. I posted on my Instagram like, oh, in New York City we just met, and it was just really nice to be together in New York. Since we moved away, we have been back to New York, but not really together. So anyway, he comes in town. On that Thursday, we have our meeting in the morning. He was already so sweet that whole day. I was like, oh, I was like really flattered, but I was like, yeah, I haven't seen you in a week, so maybe that's why. And obviously it was Valentine's Day that week. We didn't celebrate together because he was in LA, I was in New York. So we were like, okay, let's do our date night on Thursday night. Max proposed to go to a dumpling place in Chinatown. It's on 100 Mott Street. I don't even know the name. It's kind of this like really janky restaurant in Chinatown. This is actually where our very first date was. I get ready, and actually really funny, the day before I had this really sparkly white dress, and I took a picture in it the night before, and on our way to the restaurant I was like, oh, let me just post this photo. So I post this photo in the white dress. All my girlfriends knew about the proposal. Max had told them the day before. They were all freaking out. They were like, Sanne knows. Sanne's wearing a white dress. Why is she wearing a white dress? Like so over the top. She like never really dresses like this. I literally was on the way in the car and I was like, oh, let me just post this photo. But obviously I was wearing something completely different, because I'm not gonna eat dumplings in a super overdressed, like super sparkly dress, obviously. So yeah, we have dinner at our dumpling place. Max is like also taking some like little videos, and the crazy thing is I posted on my stories like, oh, we're back at the dumpling place where we had our first date, And there were actually so many of you who DM'd me at that point and were like, oh my god, perfect place for a proposal. Obviously, I didn't check my DMs because I was having dinner, but the fact that so many of you picked on this was just really, really crazy. We had never been back to this place after our first dates. You know, we were talking about our memories and about our first dates and things like that. Max was absolutely completely normal here. We were just having normal conversations. Then we left and we went to our second spot, which is a cocktail bar. It was also our first date. We literally went to 4 bars on our first date. Like, we just didn't want it to end. So we were kind of like reliving our very first date in New York City. So we went to the cocktail bar, we had a drink. Max normally doesn't really drink, so he was like, I'm gonna try a cocktail. Then we like walk all the way to West Village, to this place called Fat Cat. I think they changed the name. Kind of this like dodgy cafe where you can play like games and things like that. And here is where it got a little bit like suspicious. I didn't know Max was kind of on a time schedule. So we walk all the way, and I think we were a little slow, and we arrive at Fat Cat. We stand in front, and Max is like, I don't really feel like going in there. I don't know, it feels like a little dirty, you know, with COVID. And I was just like, wait, we just walked 35 minutes to this place. I was like, okay, yeah, that's fine. COVID, whatever. We continued walking to West Village, and here is where I why I started like taking control, and kind of I was starting to mess up the plans a little. There's this cute little wine bar called Buffet, which is one of my favorite places. We walked by not knowing that we are on a time schedule. I was like, babe, I really want a glass of wine. Because we walked for like 40 minutes outside. The reason why Max apparently was kind of on a time schedule was he knew it was going to rain at 10 p.m. And by this time it was about like 9 p.m. So we get into the cafe, I order a glass of wine, and I was like, oh, maybe shall we order cheese or shall we order bread? I was feeling date night. I was so in it. I had so much fun. And this is a moment where Max kind of, you know, he started to get, I don't know if it was irritated, but he obviously really wanted to go because he wanted to leave before the rain. I was like sipping my wine slowly, and I was like, you don't like it here? And he was like, yeah, I do. He went to the bathroom like twice. Thought he was just not feeling so well because we just drink cocktails and he don't really drink. But honestly, I wasn't really overthinking the situation too much. I was just having a really good time being in New York City and just bringing up all these memories. We get out of the restaurant at 10 p.m. and it starts to rain a little bit. I was wearing a little hat, and I was wearing like, you know, like a nice coat so I wasn't cold, whatever. And we were just around the corner of 36 Bedford Street. I don't know if you guys remember this place, but this is where I start my earliest vlogs in the West Village. This was also the spot where we had our very first kiss. So after a whole date night, Max had dropped me off at home. Such a gentleman. Obviously, we were kind of like nervous because, you know, you always get to that point where you're like, how am I gonna say goodbye? I was really into him, I remember. And I just like kissed him, and I immediately run inside. So that spot was exactly the spot where we had our very first kiss. We walk there, and, you know, he like expresses his love for me, which he does often and all the time. So I still didn't really realize what was going on. Literally in front of our door, or my old door, he gets on his knees, and I still did not see the ring really. And I was like, what's going on? And I saw someone out of like behind the car jumping out, and I was like, oh my god, is it the cameraman? And that's where kind of I realized what was going on. Max was on his knees, I saw someone taking a photo, and I was like, oh my god, this is it, no way. Oh my god, my reaction was just priceless. I don't know, it was like a wave of happiness, and I just started laughing, like giggling and crying at the same time. And it took me like a little moment before I actually was like, yes. So yeah.
Wise men say only fools rush in, but I would it be a sin? Oh, if I can help falling in
You're married? I make you the happiest guy in the world. I love you so much, and I'm not very good at this. I need to practice, but this is why I wanted to walk all the way back over here.
That's how you feel.
some things are meant to be.
That's where we got proposed, in front of my West Village apartment in the rain. It was honestly really, really romantic, and the whole night was, I don't know, it just felt really perfect. And I know that Max, you know, he was first bothered, like, oh no, he wanted to make everything so perfect. You know, he wanted to be there before the rain and stuff, but honestly, it was just one of the most romantic things what could have happened. I don't know, this moment was also very us, like, just so genuine, so like casual. It was just really, really amazing. Obviously, we were so happy. I knew we were going to do karaoke that evening with Jason and Jesse. So we stepped into the car and he was like, we're gonna go sing karaoke. I obviously call my best friend Daphne, FaceTime. She doesn't pick up. I FaceTime my best friend Julia. She doesn't pick up. I walk into the karaoke place and it was just such an amazing moment because all my friends in New York were there waiting for me with champagne. Oh my god, I'm getting a little emotional. I need some water. So I walk into this karaoke place and all my friends out of New York City are there, and it was just such a joyful moment. We just had champagne all night, we sing karaoke, and I don't know, my friends make all these like decorations with photos. It was literally the cutest thing ever. Friends, community, it's so important for us. So to be able to celebrate a moment like that with all the people you love was just, I don't know, it was just amazing. I like played it over and over and over in my head. You know, there were just so many like little things that I just like didn't realize. Like the night before I was going to have dinner with my girlfriends Daphne and Julia, and they actually last minute like canceled on me, and I was like, oh, that's kind of weird, like I'm in town, like, but their reason was they just couldn't be around me because they obviously knew what was going to happen, and they were like, we're gonna spill it, we're gonna ruin it. So they just literally just like canceled on dinner. And there were just like a couple of these moments where, I don't know, I was like, oh, that's weird. It was really special. And the next morning we woke up, we like baked croissants and just like, I don't know, really enjoyed the moment. Called up all our friends, called up all our family. I had to let all of you know as well, because it's almost like you want to scream it off the roof. It's just like a weird feeling. But I don't know, I just feel there's so many like chapters, and I feel like, damn, really growing up right now. And yeah, he put a real ring on it. Actually, I wanted to show you quickly the ring from like close up. It's absolutely stunning. I did let Max know like things I actually don't like in a ring. I don't like really giant big stones, and I also obviously gold because I love to wear gold. So it is like a little square stone with some golden stones around it, and what makes it really special, I don't know if you can see it, but it has 2 little stones in there, and it says the Dutch word konijn. And the word konijn means rabbit, and it's kind of the nickname Max and I call each other. It's one of the only Dutch words Max actually knows. The fact that it's like so personalized and it has like little elephants on it engraved and little stones just makes it extra special for me. Rather than just like a ring, it's like really personalized. So yeah, Max in a way was my first serious boyfriend, and 4 years later we are going to be serious husband and wife. For now, we're just gonna really enjoy the moment. I know everyone is asking, when is the wedding gonna be? Honestly, I don't really know. Maybe next year, maybe the year after. I would love to do it in Europe, Italy, or I don't know, but too many things to like think about. I hope you enjoyed this little story time video with you. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I love you guys very much. I hope you know, and I hope I'll see you guys very soon. So come on. I just told everyone kind of the whole story from my perspective, kind of how everything went down. You plan to do it in New York, right?
Since 2019, I always wanted to do our first date exactly the same way we did it, and then end up in front of your door in West Village, and then propose to you there. And it happened 98% that way. You kept trying to go to different places, and like, oh, I want wine. Oh no, you know what? I want to get some dessert and some cheese. And I'm like, oh, we have a place to be.
I never want dessert and cheese, really. You guys weren't even supposed to be in New York, and then like you guys just came, and it was just.
No, I decided on Sunday. I was like, this is the week I have to do it, and I'm gonna go to New York and do it. So I just told everyone, and you were surprised every single way.
It was just so unexpected, which is pretty hard because like I tend to control the plans and stuff like that. So the fact that it was a surprise, that was it.